Hello, my name is Hunter Houston, and I'm an IT major at OSU IT, or Oklahoma State University Institute of Technology in Okmulgee, Oklahoma, and this is my course project for Dr. Phil's hardware class. So for this assignment, we were given a box full of parts that we were told to use to construct a functioning tablet that hopefully in the end would display something. If everything worked right, that's what should have happened. So this is all of the parts laid out. You have your back cover here. It's white and big, and the back cover. And then this is the battery here that we'll tape on later. This is the AC adapter right here. This is the USB. This is the bag full of screws and parts and just little tiny stuff they put in this bag so you wouldn't lose it, and they're pretty important. So, and then this is the motherboard that we'll put on in a little bit. And this is the display. This is the frame that the display goes in. We'll get into that in just a little bit. So, this is the back cover of the tablet. And this contains the speaker cover. So you have these two right here are the speaker cover, and this is where you'll put the dust caps in, which I'll get into, and where the speakers will eventually go. And this right here is the back camera holder, where you'll eventually place the back camera into and lock it in. We'll get into that later in just a second. And then this is the display of the tablet. So hopefully in the end, this display will display something. If everything is hooked up correctly and everything is functioning properly, that's what should happen. That is the goal here. So these are the speaker dust caps and the back camera decorative piece. So the speaker dust caps are sticky, so they'll stick right on there, and that'll be good. That's what those are. And then this right here is the back camera decorative piece, which will go right here into the back camera slot. And you'll need to touch it with a soldering tip to lock it in, so we'll do that when we get to soldering, but right now, just know that that's where that goes. So then this is the motherboard. This is what does basically all the computing for your tablet, and I'm going to go into what the different parts of the motherboard do, so, or are at least. So then this is the button soldering site right here. This is the display slot right here. This is the dual channel speaker soldering site right here. This is the motherboard processor chip. This is the battery cable soldering site right here. This is the Wi-Fi antenna soldering site for the Wi-Fi cable. This is the touchscreen display slot. This is the TF cardboard soldering site. And then this is the camera slot. So then this is the conductive graphite sheet, which you place on the motherboard right on top of the CPU, and it basically functions as a heat sink to disperse heat from the motherboard, so motherboard doesn't get too hot. So then this is the motherboard after you've inserted the flat display cable into the FPC slot. So these two things right here, you'll flip the little black tab up and you'll put the cable in. This cable can be a little hard to work with at first, but if you apply a little pressure, you can squeeze it in and then just push the tab back down on both of these, and you'll lock it in, and that should work. That should be fine. And then, so this is the button board right here, and this is the PCA bracket. So the button board is installed with screws, these two right here. And then you have the PCA bracket, which basically holds the motherboard in place, and those are installed with screws right here. So the motherboard doesn't wobble around and whatnot. And then this is the motherboard frame installed with screws. So you have one screw right here, one screw right here, and one screw right here. And that's also used so the motherboard doesn't flop around and move everywhere when you don't want it to. So then here's the display frame that has been secured using screws. These two notches here, you screw in, and it basically holds the display in place in the frame. So that is how that works. And then this is the TF cardboard that has been installed using screws. One screw right here and one screw right here. As you can see, there's a lot of screws that are being used here. So you're going to need a little screwdriver to screw all these in, but they all function just right and they all work pretty well. So then this is the Wi-Fi antenna after it's been soldered on. So right here. So this is basically when we get into soldering. So you're going to want to solder all this stuff together so it connects and it works together, and everything functions together to make this tablet work. So the Wi-Fi antenna right here is where you solder it, and basically it fits real nice right here. This is where you tape it into place, and this is what will allow you to connect to the internet. And so that's how that works. And then the speaker cables, you have red, black, 1, 2, 3, 4. You solder it on just like that with some solder, and then you connect the speaker by doing that. And then this is the battery that's taped on 1 centimeter away from the motherboard, basically towards the middle of the frame. So you just tape that on right there, and then that's where the battery goes. And then this is the battery after it's been soldered on. So you have black, red, 1, 2. You solder that right there, solder that right there. They both solder on, and that's what connects the battery to the motherboard, so the battery has function. And then this is the camera being fixed in. So basically you connect the camera to the FPC slot right here, and then you fix it down and you fix it into the camera frame, and then you want it aligned with the back camera slot, so then the back camera aligns. And then, so this is basically the completed tablet without any covering. So you have the motherboard, with the graphite plate, with the battery, with the cables, and all the soldering done. So that's what it should look like without the back covering on, before you put the back covering on. And then once you put the covering on, well, before you put the covering on, you want to place the back cover decorating piece. You want to place that in, and then you want to touch the soldering tip to it so it locks in. So that's like that. Looks just like that. And then the speakers are sticky on the back, so you put those right in and you stick those into place, and then your speakers are in place. And then basically you put the back cover on and you start off the tablet, and if everything worked right, it should look just like this. It should boot up and everything, and this is what it would look like if you connected everything right and everything is functioning properly. So I think that would be all. And so that is your tablet, and that is what it should be doing.